Nowhere Prophet. A recent addition to Game Pass. Nowhere Prophet is a rogue-like strategy card game where you're the head of a caravan of followers trying to get to some kind of promised land. The world is post-apocalyptic and inspired by Indian culture, and along your journey you'll face random encounters, and may even need to fight. The catch is though that your cards are also your people. If they fall in battle, they're gone forever. You will meet new people along the way and can tailor your follower deck as your card pool expands. It's pretty interesting, and well worth checking out. Age of Wonders. Planetfall. Age of Wonders has long been a staple in the hero-style, hex-based, faction-heavy TBS field, and Planetfall appears to be a more than worthy successor. It brings the game into the science fiction future while retaining the hero focus and turn-based tactical scale battles. It looks really good and could continue to crack open the Xbox ecology for serious strategy games. Bad North. A micro-strategy game that involves real-time tactics, some puzzle elements, and roguelike progression. This is a wonderful blend of strategy staples distilled to a pure, slightly alcoholic state. You control a small army of troops and must defend islands of varying size and topography from waves of Viking attackers. There are different types of troops, and a rock, paper, scissor-like mechanic exists, but it's not just about beating type. You have to make sure your troops are in place ahead of time to get the full effect. Planning and positioning are the real gods of the Norsemen, and if you curry their favor you will win the day. Totally accurate battle simulator. This is technically a game preview game as it's still technically in a pre-release state, but this wonderfully bonkers title is now available to Games Pass subscribers on both Xbox One and PC. It's more simulation than strategy, but offers a uniquely fascinating combat simulation that allows you to pit vastly different types and numbers of troopers against each other. It's not grounded in reality at all, but it's still fun to play around with. Halo Wars. Definitive Edition and AMP. Halo Wars 2. While real-time strategy games have been a little thin on the ground lately, the console revolution has given them new life in many cases. Halo Wars is one of the older RTS which has seen considerably more discussion and play since it has been available on Xbox. Upgradable units, a relaxed pace, and a great setting definitely make it of interest for those in the know. You can't keep a good franchise down, and Halo Wars 2 proves that. Taking up the story from the end of Halo Wars and popping in a time skip, you are dropped into a fight made of strategic units, heroes, and radial menus. While some of the original handling of DLC was unfortunate, that's no longer a problem. Shadow Tactics. Blades of the Shogun. At one point in the not-too-distant past, stealth strategy games were all the rage. Maneuvering a group of characters across the map, trying not to raise an alarm, killing only those who need to be killed, and coming out the other side with no one the wiser, that was good play. Shadow Tactics plays to that directly. As usual, this kind of game is almost as much a puzzler as it is strategy, but it's definitely worth a try. WARGROOVE. The most modern game in this bunch while simultaneously being the most retro, WARGROOVE borrows a lot from older properties. If you enjoyed the pixelated wonder of Advance Wars, then the light-hearted approach to strategy and tactics here is going to tickle your fancy. Gameplay doesn't stop at the end of the campaign because a map and mission editor can extend your enjoyment, as long as you're feeling creative. Mutant Year Zero. Road to Eden. One of the modern innovations in turn-based strategy has been to couple it with deep story and RPG-style character development. Mutant Year Zero takes that and runs with it, mating an XCOM-style TBS with an RPG-style story and unit development architecture to turn out something which may not be the best TBS available, but it will keep you coming back for more because the story itself is so interesting. BattleTech. One of the best turn-based tactics games to come out in recent years. BattleTech puts you in command of an up-and-coming lance of mechwarrior mercenaries. You must travel the known worlds, pick up contracts, and fight other people's wars for them. You can upgrade and customize your mechs as you go, as well as collect new chassis for bigger and better squad composition. BATTLEFLEET GOTHIC. ARMADA 2. The sequel to the original 2017 space strategy game is finally being made available via Games Pass for PC. It's a new and improved version of the game, although some things were still a bit better in the original. Still, it's very pretty, and gives you a healthy dose of space-based Warhammer 40k action. Well worth trying if you're a Game Pass subscriber. Gears Tactics. Gears Tactics surprised us when it released earlier this year. It's a better spin-off title than we could have hoped for, and is actually a pretty decent turn-based tactics game to boot. It lacks the full-featured design of XCOM 2, but it's got some interesting twists on the formula and preserves the feel of the original Gears games quite well. Definitely worth checking out if you haven't already. Phoenix Point. Games Pass for PC is the only other place to get Julian Gollop's XCOM successor outside of the Epic's Game Store or the Microsoft Store. It might be worth checking it out for free first if you're a subscriber, as while Phoenix Point is a great strategy layer and is a visual treat, it's a little rough around the edges at the moment. There's a lot to be said about how Firaxis XCOM handled tactical battles, and not many follow-ups, not even Gollop himself, have managed to fully capture that magic. Europa Universalis 4, Microsoft Store Edition. It's not as mainstream of Crusader Kings 2, but Europa Universalis 4 is one of the two main poster children of grand strategy gaming. This game takes you from the mid-1400s right through to the end of the Napoleonic era in 1815, some 400 years of history that saw everything from the discovery of the New World, to the age of gunpowder. You can choose to play as any nation in the world and lead them through their own journey. As well as the base game, all of Europa Universalis 4 DLC has also been made available via the Microsoft Store. You don't get it for free with Games Pass, but subscribers do get a discount. Age of Empires 1 and AMP 2, Definitive Edition. The late 90s are thought of as the origin of the real-time strategy genre by many, as some pivotal games came out of that period, including both Age of Empires 1 and 2. 20 years later, we have remasters of the originals with slightly improved graphics but exactly the same gameplay. If you look back on these games as part of your seminal introduction to the genre, you probably want these.